First of all, thank you very much for your response in the previous video. Let's start 3rd November 2025 important current affairs discussion. The first important article is GSAT 7R communication satellite. Let's understand the background of the news, background of this topic, and then we'll go to the what are the concepts involved in this particular topic. This topic can be linked with in the prelims. The question can be asked on this satellite. Now the background is, see, the different military or even the common people need the communication, right? They need what? Communication like using the mobile phone or the television. But the military application for the communication is more sophisticated, more important, especially the use of instrument like radars, right? In order to track the drones, if any drone is coming from other country to our country, or some illegal activities are happening, to track those things, actually the communication satellites play a very, very crucial role. That is the context, guys. And in this particular article, what has happened is that ISRO on Saturday successfully launched Indian Navy's, you see here, Indian Navy's advanced communication satellite GSAT 7R. The name they have given is the CMS-03. Right, so you understood, this is a communication satellite, basically to have to identify the locations, to track, to communicate between the different units. So for that purpose this will be used. Now let's understand some important feature of this particular the first thing we have to know here is that GSAT 7R. This is the topic. Okay, now what things we need to know here? The first thing we need to know here is that let's understand some of the basics. First is, it is Indian Navy's communication satellite. Okay, first thing, this is the first thing is required, Indian Navy satellite. Okay, second thing you have to remember is that this is indigenously built. It is indigenously built, designed and built in India. That means it's also signifying towards the becoming self-reliant in this particular sector also. Third important fact is that it is heaviest communication satellite of India. So whenever there is extreme thing, see the heaviest, that means this is extreme, so we have to remember of India. Third important point is that it is a heaviest Indian built communication satellite, launched from the soil also, as well as the heaviest of the Indian satellite also. That means, see, any satellite we can launch for other country also, right? Sometimes ISRO launch satellite for the NASA also, or for other countries also. So it is heaviest launched from India also, as well as it is India's heaviest communication satellite also. Okay, so these two facts we can know from here. Now what would be the other factors also? Okay, as you know, to launch the satellite, I mean, if you have to launch the satellite, place it in its orbit, what you need? You need one launch vehicle, right? This is basically nothing but the launch vehicle. So here somewhere they keep the satellite, which will be placed in its orbit. Suppose it is Earth. Now they will put this satellite on a particular orbit. So this work is done by this what it is? Launch vehicle. What launch vehicle is used to launch this satellite? That is the question here. What launch vehicle is used? They have used LVM-3. Please remember, this is a most powerful of India's launch vehicle, which is used by the ISRO. Even sorry, this launch vehicle was used to launch Chandrayaan 2, Chandrayaan 3, as well as the OneWeb. Okay, so LVM-3 was used here. So this fact we have to remember. Then what is the utility? What is the use of it? Utility. See, the first utility here is that it will help navies space-based communication. Space-based communication. That is the first application. Second is that this will be used for the surveillance at the maritime, which is the keyword is the maritime domain maritime domain awareness. Okay, so these two utility are there. This is launched through, let's revise it first. Some basic is that Indian Navy's communication satellite, indigenously built, heaviest, and then it is launched through the LVM-3, and the utility is that Navy based communication and maritime domain. Important article is on Nipah virus. Nipah virus. See, these viruses you must have heard after this coronavirus. Many viruses we are hearing a lot. Nipah virus, and then this coronavirus, along with that Zika virus. So many viruses, right? So in that context, developing some kind of medicine or the vaccine which can help our body to prevent such kind of a disease to be infected to our body becomes an area of research now. Right? In that context, this particular article becomes very important for us. Let's see what has happened recently. See, what has happened is that ICMR has invited an expression of interest for the development and production of monoclonal antibiotic against the Nipah virus disease. You got the idea? There is one virus. This virus vaccine has to be developed, a kind of antibiotic. Okay, which can tackle this Nipah virus. For that, ICMR have invited like the come and develop and do the production. That is the issue. Now let's for us what is important is that about this Nipah virus, sometimes the UPSC can ask in the prelims like what is Nipah virus, whether it is the curable, not curable. So the detailing we will be needing here. Along with that, we have to cover this monoclonal antibiotics, what it is, that also we will cover in this particular article. Let's start with this Nipah virus. This is the article. Okay. So let's first cover what it is. Nipah virus. About the Nipah virus. See, Nipah virus is a zoonotic disease. It is a zoonotic disease. Okay. First, it is a zoonotic disease and it was first recorded in 2001. So that point also we have to remember, that is it started in 2001. First report. And this is highly fatal kind of disease. So that's why its cure becomes very important. And for that, there is one the concept which is called as the monoclonal antibodies. Monoclonal antibodies. What are these? These are nothing but the antibodies which can tackle this Nipah virus. These are that the concept is that first we understand the concept of antibodies. See, antibodies are nothing but which defend our body to from any external element, external pathogen, which are called as the antigen. So our cell or our body has certain mechanism which can if this virus is coming to our body, this virus which in the form of antigen coming to our body will generate one antibody so that this particular part can be negated. So this is, let's say, antibody, this is called as the antigen, and this antibody will fight with this antigen. Hence the impact of this antigen will be negated by the antibody. This is the natural mechanism through which our body fights any kind of foreign element, foreign pathogen. Okay. Now, artificial antibodies can also be prepared. This is what? This is the concept of natural antibodies. Similarly, artificially we can develop antibodies, and that can be prepared to target a particular kind of antigen. So let's say there is a Nipah virus. Let's say this is a Nipah virus which have the particular kind of structure. This is what? Nipah virus, right? For this, what we can do in lab, we will be developing a particular kind of antibody, so that this antibody will be able to fight this Nipah virus. So this concept, since this antibody is produced from single clone of cell, so it is also known as the monoclonal antibody, since it is being produced from single cell clone. So one cell is that its clone has been made, and that clone has been multiplied, so that way the antibody has been produced. Such kind of antibodies are known as the monoclonal antibodies. Understood? So what is the utility of this antibody? That becomes important. Use of this antibody. See, this antibody, that is monoclonal antibodies, have several use to cure diseases like cancer. So if any cancer cell is there, the antibody will fight with the cancer cell and it will negate its impact. It can also be used in treating arthritis along with the cardiovascular diseases also. Cardiovascular diseases. Okay, so like this this particular antibody is used. Let's move to the next article. So what we discussed, let's quickly revise it. See, Nipah virus we discussed what it is. It is a zoonotic disease. What are zoonotic disease? Such disease which are caused by the animals. It was first detected in 2001. To cure it, monoclonal antibodies have been developed. The concept of antibody is that if there is antigen, to fight this antigen there will be the antibody. Same thing can be developed in the lab. If this is Nipah virus, antibody will be developed to tackle this particular virus. It can be used in the cancer, arthritis as well as the cardiovascular diseases. So that was about the Nipah virus. Let's move to the next article. Next article is the National Beekeeping and Honey Mission. National Beekeeping and Honey Mission. Now let's cover this particular article. See, what is the context and what is the background? The context you understood, like the National Beekeeping and Honey Mission. It is in the news because of the recently there is the National Horticulture Board, not National Horticulture Board, have actually launched this particular scheme which is called as the National Beekeeping and Honey Mission. Okay, so this is in the news. So let's discuss about this particular scheme. What is the scheme? National Beekeeping Honey Mission. See, first thing you must have understood here is that it is about the beekeeping. As you know, bee produces honey, right? So this honey can be an economic product, a kind of allied sector of agriculture we can consider, right? First, let's understand about this scheme feature. Now, the scheme is that it is a central sector scheme. Generally, agricultural schemes are centrally sponsored schemes because agriculture is a state subject. Hence, the most of the schemes are centrally sponsored scheme where both central government and the state government collaborate together to launch that particular scheme. However, in case of the National Beekeeping and Honey Mission, it's a central sector scheme. The second is the mission is part of Sweet Revolution. It's a part of Sweet Revolution. Sweet Revolution is the kind of comprehensive mission through which we want to increase our productivity and the production of the honey. This scheme is for between 2020 to 2021 to 2025 to 26. So means on duration. What are the key objectives? Objectives of the scheme. Objectives of scheme. Okay. Now, see, objectives will be common. Objectives will be common. Not, it won't be a difficult. See, first is that the holistic growth of this sector. Holistic growth of sector. Infrastructure development. Then agri-entrepreneur development. Agri-entrepreneur development. This is the scheme. Now, the next thing is that, next thing about this what we have to discuss is about the national bee board as well as the honey export landscape. And the other aspect we will discuss here. One is national bee board. Bee board. This is the topic we have to discuss under this. What is National Bee Board? It is nothing but the implementing agency. Implementing agency registered as a society. Generally, society, there is a Societies Registration Act through which you can register as a society. Instead of company, you can register as a society. And this institution actually sees the overall development of the beekeeping. So, they see the beekeeping sector development. And finally, what we will see here is that what are the honey export landscape, honey export, how it is performing, how it is going on, honey export. See, mostly the honey export is, the ranking is the second largest. First is China, second is India in terms of export of honey. Where we export USA. Almost 78% export is to USA. Then we also export to UAE, Saudi Arabia also. Okay, so this was the comprehensive coverage of national bee and honey mission. The scheme is central sector scheme. This point we have to see. This point we have to cover first. Next is the Tri-Service Exercise TSC 2025. See, about the exercises, we are covering a lot of exercises. Actually, recently, I think in 2024 or 25, UPSC asked in the prelims about the one exercise. So, after that, this topic became very important. So, let's cover here. You know that here a lot of coverage is not very important. What is important here is that Tri-Service Exercise. It is the exercise of Tri-Service. Tri-Service means all three service will be involved here. That is Indian Navy, Indian Armed Force, Air Force and Indian Army. These three services will be involved. It will be 12 day exercise, and it is also called as the Trishul exercise. Okay, because the three services are involved. That much only important here. We don't have to go very deep here. That much in understanding is enough to cover this particular topic. Next is the Lucknow has been granted as a UNESCO Creative City of Gastronomy. You must have aware, like the Hyderabad is the first of India's first creative city of gastronomy. Now the Lucknow has become the second city, the creative city of gastronomy declared by the UNESCO. So that is the context. Let's cover this particular topic. So the topic is the Creative City Network. Creative City Network. Creative City Network. Now, what is the context? First is that about the Creative City Network. These creative cities are declared by some facts. Let's cover the facts first. Then we'll come to the this Lucknow. The fact is that it is declared by the UNESCO. UNESCO declared it. Second fact we have to remember is that what are the criteria of declaration of creative city. First criteria is that it should be having the deep rooted culture I mean, it should be influencing the culture. It should have the great impact in the culture. So one is the cultural criteria is there. Cultural criteria is there. Second is that the practice should be having the positive impact or should not have the negative implications on the environment. So there is the environmental criteria also present. Okay, so these are the two major criteria. Now we have to understand here about the Lucknow's culinary heritage. Let's cover the Lucknow culinary heritage. Lucknow culinary heritage. See, these are also called as the Awadhi cuisines. Awadhi cuisines. Most popular here is the pulao. Pulao is the most popular in this culture. Along with that, kebabs are also very popular. Kebabs. Okay, and biryani. They call it the dum-cooked biryani is popular. So for this they have been granted as the creative city of gastronomy. So this was the article. Next is the places in the news. Tajikistan and Ayni Airbase. See, you must have heard like the countries like US, China having their airbase in the different parts of the world. Especially US is having almost all region they have their airbase, like in Afghanistan, even in the Saudi Arabia and other countries they have their airbase. Similarly, the question is India is also having some airbase in the other country? The answer is yes. India has, but the context here is that India has recently withdrawn from the Ayni airbase in the Tajikistan. Actually, this particular the fact here is that this was India's first overseas military facility. Overseas military facility. So this was India's first overseas military facility, but now we have withdrawn from it. Actually, we had earlier agreement with Tajikistan. So now that agreement has ended, that's why we are withdrawing from it. Okay. Now, its location is more important than its geopolitical and other significance. Its location becomes important for us from the UPSC point of view. See here, this is India. And in the northwestern direction of India, here you have the Pakistan, Afghanistan. Here you have Tajikistan. This country is Tajikistan. Okay, this is Tajikistan, and Tajikistan have the border with Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and Turkmenistan. Okay, now here we had this location. We had this Ayni airbase, and this is very strategic. You see this Ayni airbase. Actually, this is the airbase. Ayni airbase. Now this is strategically very important because as you see from here we can access the Afghanistan. Actually, when the Taliban took over the Afghanistan, this airbase was used for the evacuation of our diaspora or the people of Indian origin who were stuck there. So that way this becomes important location for India also. Next article. This is from the mains point of view. The question is, are social media platform dying a slow death? It's very interesting article for us actually, very interesting. We will enjoy it. Now see, what has happened here is that there is one term actually which is coming into the picture, that is the N-certification. If you break this particular word, N-certification, let's cover this in a holistic way. That is N-certification. Okay, what is the word? See here, two words are there. Meaning of this word is first important, then we'll discuss its the analysis part. See, there are two words. One is the N, sit. You see, sit, certification. Now you are clearly knowing this word. What is this? Sit. So basically sit is something which is wasteful, something which is having very low value, and which decay. So some such thing is known as the SIT, right? So this word actually was given by one Canadian activist, who was basically the digital activist, whose name is Cory Doctorow. This name is not important. This person gave this name. Actually, he was describing about the digital services and its the degradation of its quality. According to him, what happens is that there are three stages of degradation of digital services. What happens? First, they will give free quality services, digital services, right? Then what they will give? They will give priority to businesses, and then they will try to they will come in the picture in the form of exploitation of consumers. We'll understand with an example. See, the example is what happens. Initially, if you remember, the Facebook, Instagram, these platforms, when they came, they started giving free services, without ads also. So the quality of content was very high, and so that way they were providing us a lot of services, so it attracted the users. After that, what they started doing, they started collaborating with the businesses to give us the targeted advertisements, the promotions, payment for the subscriptions. These things started coming. Then what they started doing, they started actually capturing users data to give personalized advertisements, as well as the charging for even small thing. Even you must have heard, like the X is charging for the verification of your profile also. So that way you see that there is a increasing level of the degradation in the service motive. Actually this digital service has become more oriented towards the profit as well as the commercial. So this actually phenomena has been termed as the N-citification. Now, why the reason? The reason is that the why. First is that the why it is happening. See, it is happening because of the increasing profit motive. Second reason is that there is monopoly. If you see the YouTube have almost monopoly in this market of digital services, and the Google, these kind of companies are having the monopoly, and that's why they are starting to exploit the consumers, right? So that is also the point. Third is that there is lack of regulation in this particular sector, because domestic regulation doesn't work, and the international community, the international regulation is hardly available in this particular segment. Now impact is also very huge here, because the consumers are even a common person are started using it, so it reduces the quality of life. Then it also brings the inequity. It also leads to the unethical business, right? So this way, this N-certification is important. This particular article is important from the mains point of view. In the mains, there is one topic called as the corporate governance. There, this particular point can be used, or direct question can also be asked in this particular article. So this was today's discussion. We had discussed 7 important articles. How you felt about the discussion? Please give your feedback on the comment box, and if you liked it, share with your friends also. Thank you so much for today's discussion.